Welcome back to the Alcohol-Free RV. Today I want to share something with you. This is kind of a hobby of mine, and it also helps us store food a little bit longer. We've got a jerky pack that we're going to work with today, and I've used this pack once before, and it's actually made for 15 pounds of meat. There's pre-measured setup for 3 5-pound batches, and it comes with multiple packets like this that contain all the cure and seasoning and everything. And then tomorrow we'll go ahead and get this on the smoker. But in order to get this prepared, what we'll need to do is we'll need to get the meat trimmed, most of the fat off of it. You want a really lean cut of meat while you're making jerky, and then we'll marinate this overnight so we can smoke for probably 7 or 8 hours in the morning. A couple of the choices of meat that I am using this time: I've got a flank steak and also a beef bottom round rump roast. I've used the rump roast before. I've not used the flank steak, but what I do know is that that cut of meat should be cut against the grain, because otherwise you're going to have a really chewy piece of jerky. Now, everything that you need to make the jerky and season it and everything, marinate it, is in the bag, except for about a cup of water.
Now, when you're cutting your meat for individual jerky slices, you want to make sure you want to get as much fat off the original cut as possible. Here, I'm removing the whole fat cap, basically, just using a paring knife and trying to keep as much of the meat and discarding as little as possible. And then I just go ahead and trim off any of the other little pieces. Trimming all the fat, you want to take a look at your meat to see which way you want to cut your slices. Against the grain is going to be a more tender cut, and with the grain is going to be a little bit more chewy. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this apart so that, one, my slices are not too long, and two, I can go against the grain because that's how I like mine. When I get on to the second piece, I cut off the little piece of fat that was in the middle and then cut that one against the grain as well. Once I'm done with that roast, I turn my attention over to the flank steak. And again, trimming it off and then slicing it against the grain. Made that piece really tender. And I decided my slices were too long, so cut the piece in half. Made more manageable size to work with.
I've got the meat all sliced up. This is pretty close to 5 pounds, I believe. The recipe calls for 1 cup of cold water, so just got tap water, and then 1 packet of cure and 1 packet of the Hickory jerky seasoning is going to go ahead and get added to that 1 cup of water. Just a little bit off. And grab a stirring device. We'll go ahead and get this poured on top of the meat.
Now, I do want to note that the first time that I made this, I didn't read the included instruction or recipe card. I instead decided to follow the basic directions on the back of the bag. Now, the step that I just did on the back of the bag says to add just a small amount of water. I ended up, at that point, making kind of a paste instead of a liquidy consistency, and I think this liquid is going to allow this to marinate just a little bit better and probably get into the meat a whole lot easier. I may be able to get away with just stirring this around with a fork and getting it all worked in that way. Last time I really had to get my hands dirty and mix it around manually to make it marinate well. The meat is marinated overnight in the refrigerator, and I'm hanging the strips of jerky on toothpicks so that they hang in between the little parts of the rack. And I choose to do this because it allows me to get more jerky going at one time. I only have 4 racks of this size, so I would have to go in multiple batches if I did not hang it. I think for me, I don't know whether it's for real or not, but I feel like it allows the jerky to breathe a little bit better and dry just a little bit easier. I'm going ahead and getting the jerky into the smoker, and as you can see, the meat's kind of hanging down, and that kind of proves kind of the use of the toothpicks. Now, I've got the smoker set to about 180 degrees, and I'll do it for 180 degrees for about an hour, hour and a half, and I'll be applying smoke during that time. I do have a side smoker, like an attachment that is just a smoke generator, but once I get that first hour and a half done, then I'll lower the temperature to about 150 degrees, and that's going to let it dry out and not gain any additional smokiness. 8.5 hours, I started to check on the individual pieces of jerky. Now, some pieces are going to get done sooner than others, so I'm looking at each one to see how dry they are, how moist they still are, which ones still have fat dripping from them, you know, just to try to get the best quality jerky possible. Now, I left about half of the jerky on the racks and took the first batch in, then let the rest go, and it took probably another hour before all of the jerky was where I wanted it to be. Once all of the jerky is completely dry, it begins the arduous task of removing all of the toothpicks from 5 pounds of meat. Now, that's not really the most fun part about the jerky process, but it does signify we're getting close to the end, so it always puts a smile on my face. The other thing that puts a smile on my face is, man, the flavor of this stuff. It's absolutely delicious. Better than any other jerkies that I've had, I think, ever. Maybe I'm biased because I did the work myself, but truly enjoy the texture, the flavor, and everything. So that is jerky in a day over the course of about 8 minutes. Thanks for watching this episode of the Alcohol-Free RV. My name's Todd, where we have mods, repairs, and adventures along the way. We'll see you next time.
I've got a cup of cold water here that I'm going to add 1 cup of cure and 1 cup of seasoning. No, these are not cups. These are packets.